Hi, welcome back to the Hall Monitor of the Universe. There's my camera. Show. Okay? Today, first of all, this took me quite some time to get put together because I am not put together. I'm working 2, sometimes 3 jobs right now. I still have to go into Sephora today. I'm not complaining. I'm just letting y'all know that I'm not like totally with it today, but I committed to doing 2 episodes a week, and so I'm here to do this. Even though I don't have a guest today, sorry. Let me take a little sip of coffee. But what I thought would be fun to talk about, I mean, fun for some, would be Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous, where I was a member for a handful of years. I am going to also connect an article that I published through a company that I wrote for last year about my experience with AA. And if you don't know, AA is short for Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, now that we're up to date. So when I was 27, and just to like give you a little time frame, now I'm horny, so it's been a little bit of time. But stop. I'm gonna scream. The cats are fucking around. The dog won't leave me alone. Anyways, I know you're thinking, well, put them out of the room, but I can't. Okay? I can't. There's too much going on. So, January 13th, when I was 27, I don't know the year, I woke up in the morning, and I had been doing so many different drugs and alcohol, but at that point I was drinking probably most likely a bottle of vodka a day. It started with Stoli. If you don't know what Stoli is, it's like a top shelf, or it used to be a top shelf vodka. It started with Stoli and it ended with Popov. And if you know what Popov is, it's a Russian vodka. I don't know if it's Russian. I'm just guessing by the name of it that it's Russian. But it is the lowest end. So if you are, if you're penny pincher, or if you are on a budget, Popov, and an alcoholic, Popov is the way to go. Hold on, let me take a little sippy sip, okay? It's good this morning. The coffee is delish. So, I landed in a rehab facility. No, wait, what, sorry. Click back. I was drinking a bottle of vodka a day, and, taking a numerous amount of pills, and the pills that I like to take were Loratabs, 10s, the blue ones, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, Percocets, Vicodin, any type of pain medicine was my jam, and then I would love to counteract it with a Xanax, and to go to sleep in Ambien, where then I would completely wig out after having all those drugs in me. And my ex-boyfriend told me a handful of things that I would do on an Ambien, fueled by vodka, Vicodin, and all this stuff. He said I would always be naked, which congratulations to him. And we have a little guest star over here, girl. Hi, boo boo. And he would find me in the most peculiar places. One time he found me in our guest bathroom, butt naked, sitting with my head in between my legs, snoring on the toilet. One time he found me in a corner, standing naked, just standing there, and he had to escort me back to our, bed. Our house of horrors is what I used to call it. And I would cook. Not cook. Yes, I would cook. I thought I said clean. I would cook on it. He would wake up and I would be making like grilled cheeses and sandwiches and pasta and all these things, and I would be dead ass asleep. So, if you want to ruin your life, take Ambien fueled with Vicodin, Xanax, and Stoli, but I digress. So, doing all this, I ended up on January 13th when I was 27 at Monte Vista Hospital in Las Vegas. Cue for a dramatic pause. So, I checked myself in. At that point, my ex was my ex at that time. He had moved out of our house, and I really had like no friends. I mean, I had my good friend D. He was living with me, and my friend Liz, and they were both living with me. Liz was great, but Liz, we loved to party together, so it wasn't like a great thing with her. But Dee was really good. I had 2 dogs, and that's kind of, I'll tell you why I got out of rehab so quickly. But so I checked myself into Monte Vista. I remember sitting down, and if you've ever been into a facility, you understand this, but you go into a room with, I believe, is a nurse or someone that just admits you, admitting nurse or something, and they quiz you for like an hour on different things. And I'm really glad that this nurse, so a couple of the questions that I remember the nurse asked me, she said, "Do you think you can move things with your mind?" And so I sat there and I thought, well, yeah. I mean, can't we all move things with our minds if we really could use our full mind capacity? Couldn't we all? I didn't say that though. And then she asked me if I was homicidal and suicidal, and I said yes, both A and B, you know. To which she then leaned in and she said to me, "I'm just gonna let you know there are 2 different places in this hospital. One place you don't want to be, so you need to really answer these questions correctly." And I'm glad I was smart enough to realize that don't sit there and say stuff like that. So I said, okay, never mind, I'm not. And so she put me in, she admitted me, she put me in the good side. So we had the good side and the dark side, and I'll tell you about the dark side when I go to lunch. But so I go in, and I'm like, this is ghetto as fuck anyway. So I'm like, I couldn't even imagine what the dark side was. I'm sure in the shows that we see, like, that's probably what it entails, like, the craziness. But I did get a taste of it. So I go into the good side. I get taken into a bathroom by this tall string bean of a man. And he pats me down. He takes my shoelaces away, which I was so confused because I had Converse on, and I was like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know to come prepared for this. I didn't pack anything. I didn't realize I'd be staying. I didn't know. I just didn't know. So I had nothing with me, and he took my shoelaces away, and I was like, why are you taking my shoelaces away? He was like, oh, so you don't kill yourself. And I thought in my head, wouldn't I just kill myself at my house? But then, as the days went on, I understood as to why people would try and kill themselves in rehab. So, something called detox. And I'm not talking about the drag queen RuPaul's Drag Race. So, he takes that away. I go into the main area. The main room is like this big living room. I was smoking at the time, so I found this one girl. I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but she was like my best friend in rehab. And, the living room went, and they had like this little balcony to go outside, and to light your cigarette, you had to take your cigarette and put it up against this wall and hold this button and suck on it until it lights it, because, you know, we're a bunch of crazy people and we can't have fire. We'll fucking light each other on fire. So, the first couple days, I really don't remember that well. I was so fucking fucked up that I do remember the nurses asking me what kind of drugs I had taken. So I listed all of them. When they came back with my drug test, they said, because I said, okay, I've taken Vicodin, Loratabs, Xanax, Ambien, and liquor. And it came back and they're like, well, there's ecstasy in your system. And I was like, is there? I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did do that. Yeah. Looked at me like I was psycho, whatever. I'm sure I was not the first one to lie or forget about the drug activity that they were doing. So that was the first couple days. So AA meetings come in to these places. AA is the most popular way to get sober. I'm not saying it's the correct way. I don't think it's the correct way to get sober. I just think it's the most popular way, and the way that it has the biggest word around the street. Okay, so AA starts coming in. I don't know about y'all, but I have a huge issue with the word God. I don't believe in God. I know a lot of you, I mean, you probably won't like me that I'm saying this. I think a lot of people that believe in Jesus and God are weak. I think the solution is believing in yourself, and therefore everything else will fall into place. But I guess maybe weak people need to believe in something that has never been proven, that is ever there. Let me just, one statement and I'll shut up about Jesus. Y'all believe in white Jesus. White Jesus ain't a thing, baby. Jesus is a Hasidic Jew from the Middle East. At best, he would be dark brown. And he was a carpenter. He was a carpenter outside. He would never be white with beach waves, baby. That's the first lie. These fucking cats, I'm gonna fuck them up. Anyways, no to Jesus. I'm sure he was a fine gal, okay? But I'm not believing in that shit. But AA is totally Christian. And what I think is so crazy is when you get in there and you say, well, I have issues with God, which I did say to this one. There was a teacher that came in, a whatever he was. He would come in and talk to us, and he was a scientist. So I remember going to him on the side, and I remember saying, do I have to believe in God to stay sober? And he looked at me and said, yes. I said, oh, okay. So I didn't, okay. So everywhere I turned, it was like, you got to believe in God in order to stay sober. That is the way. AA has integrated themselves into these rehab facilities in a way you can't even imagine. So it's God or you're going to die, okay? So what did I do? I was already on knocking on door, the fucking knocking on death's door. I was like trying to think of what I had to say. So I at that point, even though I was like, maybe I'll start believing, even as a kid, I thought it was all a bunch of hoo-ha. I never really understood it. I don't need to understand it. Get the fuck out of here. This is going to be a terrible episode. I'm sorry, y'all. So I stayed in there a week. Okay. The food was terrible. It cost so much money to be in there, but I stayed in there a week. I had to get out. I had 2 dogs I was taking care of. I was nervous that no one was taking care of them that good. My ex was nowhere to be found. He was so unhelpful. My parents were also unhelpful. They didn't care that I was even in there. I even told later on, I said, why didn't you come visit me? And they were like, we were supposed to do that. I'm like, I guess not, whatever. But that's fine. I've always kind of done stuff on my Nana did find me though. It was funny. I was trying to keep it away from my Nana because I was so embarrassing and she just doesn't understand like drug stuff. And one day in Monte Vista in the rehab facility, she called and, hold on one second. I'll be right back. Anyways, my Nana found me. She's like, I'm a little detective. And I was so embarrassed. And I still think, she's passed now, but I still don't think she even quite understood what was going on with me. But, I get out after a week, and if you guys want to know how to get out of there, because if you're on an insurance, they will charge you personally if you leave before the doctor tells you you can leave. So pretty much what you have to do is deny all medicine and then keep saying you feel better when you really don't. Because I probably should have stayed in there for months, honestly. But, I had to get out. I did get out, and I'm here today. So it all worked out for me. But that is the way, if you feel like you need to get out of a situation like that, back then, that's how you did it. So I get out, I get to my car. There is a half full vodka Red Bull sitting in my cup car. That's like where I was at. I got in the car and it was like, I could smell the Red Bull. It was sick. So the first salon I worked at had a member of AA in the salon. So I went to her immediately and she told me a couple meetings to go to, so I don't know if I went to those, but I did find queer meetings, and I started to go to queer meetings in Las Vegas. Now, they were good, right? They were okay. I met a guy my first month, this cute graphic designer, and instead of... This is the thing, now that I know everything about AAA... Yes, if you believe in God, you work the steps, and you have the intention of being something better or someone better, then yeah, you're going to probably hopefully make it. I think AA does not work because of God. I think AA works because of the fellowship, because of the people that are in it, and because everyone is doing the exact same thing to get to the same result, meaning every day they're trying to stay sober. So that is the reason why I don't think Jesus or God has some omnipotent power and they're like, well, we're going to try and every day I'm going to make sure that this alcoholic is going to get sober. Who cares about the earthquakes in Syria or who cares about the war in Ukraine? I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about these queer people in these meetings staying sober. If God is real, which I really don't think God is real, because how could God be real in this turmoil of a world that we live in? And don't sit there and say it's in his plan or whatever, because you guys are fucking And let me tell you something. If God talks to you, check yourself into a mental institution. That's not God, babe. It's a voice that shouldn't be in your head. I tried to get all the cats out, and I didn't. Hold on one second. Okay, so started dating this guy, and well, okay, let me just be clear about something. He got his house broken into, his apartment, and he had just moved there. And I do remember thinking, well, I should go help him because maybe he'll stay at my house. Sorry, babe. So I did that, and that was that intention. And he started staying at my place, and it was fun. He was fun. He was cute. He was a lot more serious about the program than I. He got this sponsor. If you don't know what a sponsor is, it is someone in Alcoholics Anonymous that has worked through the steps and then can work you through the steps. Now, where this doesn't make any sense is I don't know how someone with different experiences in their lives can help someone. And I'm talking about childhood trauma. I'm talking about how could someone that doesn't have childhood trauma help someone with childhood trauma? They can't. It's impossible. They'll say they can help you in there. Like, I used to have people come up to me and they would say, so-and-so said that I shouldn't be taking this is in Alcoholics Anonymous. So-and-so said I shouldn't be taking my antidepressants. And I would say, is so-and-so a doctor? No. Well, then don't listen to so-and-so. But this is the kind of garbage that would go on in Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, okay? The boy and I broke up because of the sponsor. His sponsor tried to sponsor me. The sponsor told me, not even a month into the program, told me that I was the kind of alcoholic that could be lying in the gutter and I would still look down on people. He would also say to me, this isn't a fucking fashion show. Like, you don't need to be coming in here looking all cute. He was a piece of garbage. His name was Bill, and you're a fat motherfucker. Bill, if you're still alive. Anyways, this is the other thing. People sit there and toot their own horns about being 20, 30 years. These people would come out and be like, I've been smoking weed the whole time. I don't believe these people. I don't believe them in AA. AA is a bunch of bullshit. So, I shouldn't say his name. So, the boy and I are done. I start to relapse. Because obviously I went in there, and I know AA people will be like, well, because you didn't believe in God, and you went and did this. I wasn't ready. And you know what? I don't know if I'll ever be completely sober. I don't know if that's in my books, and I don't know if I want that to be in my books. Alcohol, to me, is a terrible thing, and I do try to stay away from it as much as possible, because long-term effects for it, like meaning if I continue to drink every day, I get very depressed and unmotivated, so I stay away from that. But do I like to smoke a little weed sometimes? Sure. Take a little edible? Sure. If someone had some shrooms, maybe, I'm not going to sit there but couple things about AA and then I'll shut the fuck up because I don't have a lot of time. I got to get to work because blah, blah, blah. But if you are someone that this is the only option and you are female or female-like identifying or queer, just know that you have to go in there and protect yourself. Just know that all these people are not in there to help you. They will say they'll help you, but a lot of the men in there, it is like a breeding ground for them, okay? I cannot tell you how many times I was touched inappropriately in Alcoholics Anonymous, how many times I was talked to inappropriately in Alcoholics Anonymous, how many times that I sat there and I'm like, how am I allowing this? I'm coming in here on my own addendum. Why am I allowing this guy who has 30 years of sobriety open this fucking archaic book and tell me something out of it that is Bible to them? Which it's not. AA, another thing about AA that is bullshit is that they don't want to progress. They don't want to get any better. They want to keep that stupid fucking book that was written in the 1920s by two white straight men. They don't want to make it any better. They don't want to make a second edition. They don't want to do anything for the kids now. Let me just be clear. If you're in AA and you're telling kids, if you're in AA and you had an alcohol problem and you came in like in the 90s or the early 2000s and you got sober, and then there are people coming in that have dual addiction, meaning like pills, alcohol, social media problems, shopping, and you're sitting there trying to help them, you should be ashamed of yourself because you don't know how to help them. You don't know. You will never know because you are not a licensed professional. It did not happen to you, so how could you help someone? AA needs to have bigger rules, and they need to shut the fuck up about God. You guys could probably fucking get everyone sober if you just shut the fuck up about God. If you believe in God, fine, but stop throwing it in people's faces. Other places to go to stay sober. Dharma recovery. So if you are someone that wants to get sober, this is my solution. Wants to get sober, needs to get sober. Your people around you are telling you to get sober. Look up Dharma recovery. It is a Buddhist-based recovery system. Each meeting has a 20-minute meditation, and then the meeting opens. It is so important and is such a lovely place. I found it in Los Angeles when I was living there through another place called Refuge Recovery. That person, Noah Levine, who I know personally, is a fucking groomer and a monster. So don't go to Refuge Recovery. He's fucking terrible, okay? But Dharma, go. If AA is a problem and you don't feel comfortable, go to Dharma. It does not mean, think about it like this. If you're a drug addict, you would do anything to find them drugs, bitch. I would drive to places in a town where I never should have been, okay? But I got them and I did it. You should do the same for your sobriety, okay? Is that it? I think I may do a second one, but I'm all over the place this morning. But I just wanted to put an episode out for y'all. So if AA works for you, fine. You don't need to sit here and tell me that I'm a piece of garbage or that I didn't try hard enough. I did the steps twice, okay? And I even did them in Al-Anon once, so I know that I've done the steps even more than some of the people with 30 plus years that don't have a sponsor and that sit here with all their bullshit, okay? But it's just my experience, but I also know that it's a lot of people's experiences. I run into people that stopped going to AA because of these facts. And the facts are they don't really believe in God and they don't feel comfortable in Alcoholics Anonymous because men are trying to groom them. Okay? So, that's that. Follow me on all my social medias. Please like and... Ooh, this is yellow. No, look. Ugh, I should just fucking kill myself now, having yellow hair in the back. Jesus, I'm just joking. I'm not gonna kill myself. Not yet. And one more thing. Please stop circumcising your children. It's not cool, okay? Let them have their full penis. Let them have a baby, alright?